Well, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome back to the course. Today we are going to discuss about pattern of this question is a self-reflection for everyone. It's not going to be scored, so I want you guys to pause the video and then answer all the question one by one. In your heart, it's still okay as long as you can reviews what we have discussed in the previous meeting. What is critical reading, explain four differences between critical. Well, as usual, before moving on to the next to discussing the topic, here are the references for further reading. Well, let's move on. What is pattern organizations? So take a look at this star escalations. Why pattern organization should be there is this star constellation is basically a pattern, right? One point to another point can be representing things, right? Like Scorpion, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Aquarius, Virgo, uh, Aries, Taurus, and etc. Do you still can name the stars constellations that you still remember? Of course. Because what? Because you see the pattern. It's not merely. So there are several expertise have tried to make a pattern of the text to read. Uh, there are from Faculty Washington Edu 2016, but we are going to, in this course, we are going to discuss more about Mikuleki. So what is actually listing? Listing is actually giving a number on the several item that has the same positions, like many, several, a number, of variety of a few. Take a look at the example. There are several theories about the origin of the moon. One theory called the fission theory stated that early in the life of Earth, a piece broke off and then piece became the moon. A second closely related theory is that moon is composed of several pieces of Earth that may away from our planet. Yet another theory is that the moon formed elsewhere in the solar system and it was captured Well, the next pattern organization is sequence, which the keyword is actually begin, account, story, process, history, and sequence. The signal word is that mostly about first, second, next, after, while, since, then, soon, finally, at last, in 1976, last June, later, over time, the next step, and the following week. This is a text that shows you a sequence of the process starting from the very beginning to the last. So this sequences shows us and help. Well, this is the example of the sequence, right? If you read the informations below, then underline the signal word in the paragraphs, right? Example: close up study of the planet begin when rocks start develop that could send scientific instrument into spaces. So here in the text that the writer, the author started from a very beginning of the rocket or developed that could be scientific instrument into spaces in 1965, for example, and then the story move on further and further closer until 1976. So it is what we call sequence, right? There is a sequence procedures that are being carefully placed into a very orderly um, pace from the very beginning till the last. Okay. Well, the third pattern of organization is comparison. This type of things shows that a text being compared into two things, into ideas. So there is one passage that compare two different ideas. So the keyword and the phrases in the main idea is the similarities, differences, both in common, same, difference, compare, comparison. And signal word that commonly used is that similarly, also, in the same way, as, like, both, in common. Signal word and that shows differences is like however, but, on the other hand, although, while, in contrast, then, conversely, yet, and unlike. This is the example of uh, this controversy or contrary text. Astronomy and astrology are very similar in some ways, but they also differ in other important ways. It shows that there is a similarities and also there is the differences. So this is what actually we call comparisons because it compares two things within one paragraph. Well, and the next point is that cause and effect. Cause and effect is actually shows a text that started from a cause and then the effect, okay, or the effect then, and what is the cause. So the keyword that commonly used in this kind of in the phrases in the main idea is that causes leads to, is the cause of, result in, creates, bring about, make, provoke, produce, give rise to, contribute to, is due to, is the result of, comes from, result from, is produced by, in consequences of, follow, is caused by. So this is the keyword that mostly found in the cause effect um, text, right? So if you read this text and then you try to underline the signal word, in this text shows you that in 2003, two robotics rover landed on Mars and began sending back data about possible accession of the waters on the red planet. This close examination of Mars will result in new improvement technology, right? It shows the result. So there's a robotic rovers landed on Mars and it shows us the result of this possible of this informations of the possible accession of the water in the red planet, for example. So this is what we call cause and effect. Move on to the problem and solution. So in this kind of text, that one text could provide a problem and then another and the next they offer the solution. So the key word used in this main idea is that situation, trouble, crisis, dilemma, or issues, while signal word source is solve, solution, resolve, while for identification is that it is a statement and also this description and explanation on how it was being solved. Take a look at the example of this kind of text. Beginning in 19 in beginning in the 16th centuries, astronomers had realized that their telescope had a serious limit. They had managed to build stronger and better telescopes, but no matter how strong that the new telescopes were, they were less than satisfactory. The astronomers were able to view objects when the objects were in the views of Earth at the same time. However, Earth lights and atmosphere made it difficult to see many heavenly objects. Then this is the problem, right? Then thanks to the Hubble telescope, has been solved. Because of the Hubble is not just a telescope, it's digital camera on a satellite that travels about 370 miles above Earth. So this is the solutions offer. So problem first and then solution. Okay. Okay. Next. This is one of the example that is pretty relevant to the course that that I've shown you. Givari is a student in UBBG that was originated from North Aceh. He's a very enthusiastic learner. It is scenes from the story of how he firstly arrived in Aceh. He became from North Aceh alone without any support from his family. He struggled to contact his family in Banda Aceh for information, but he did not get any friends nearby. So what is it about? Is it a problem? Is it a solutions? Is it cause and effect? Is it listing or what? So you guys discuss it later on in our SPADA module. And then the extended definition. So the keyword for this extended definition is that consists of, is, seem to be, are, and etc. Take a look at the example. In this example, that a solar eclipse is an astronomical event during when moon seems to cover the sun. When the moon passes between the earth and the sun, all the part of the sun's light is blotted out. The moon, in fact, is much smaller than the sun, but it's also a great deal closer to the earth. As a result, both the sun and moon seems to be about the same size to us. During there is a total eclipse, the sun and the moon and the earth are all in lighted line of the moon completely hides the sun from the view. A particular eclipse occurs when the three bodies are not exactly a straight line. In an annular solar eclipse, the sun is visible as a bright ring around the moon because the moon is the furthest from the earth. Well, this is actually one of the exercise for everyone. I want you guys to discuss this kind of this kind of things in SPADA module. What is this about? I told you that this example is actually for extended definition, but the question is, what is extended definition, right? So I want you guys to discuss what is actually extended definitions by your understanding, and then the final conclusion will also be provided later on in SPADA UBBG, especially in this course, right? Okay, I think that is all for today's meeting. Thank you everyone for coming. I do appreciate for your attendance to meet, watching me here teaching you. And if you have any question, feel free to discuss it in the comment sections or in spada bbg.ac.id. Alright? Okay, I think that is all. Thank you everyone. Have a good day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.